Hey, it's Carrie Flatline here for this week's Friday Fire at Remax Real Estate Lethbridge and Carrie Flatline Associates. Don't go on a holiday when you're buying or selling a house. Please, please, please. This is something that's coming up a lot because it's summer and people have other plans while they're trying to buy and sell a house. And I know we've waited a long time because of COVID to be able to go on trips and maybe leave the province or even the country in some cases. But when you're buying or selling a house, you need to have your phone on, your email at the ready, cell service or Wi-Fi at all times. And here's why. Because nothing happens in real estate legally with a transaction unless it's in writing and signed by the buyer and the seller. Okay, so here are some examples of things you need to be available for, either for electronic signing or in person or on the phone. So an amendment, something comes up on the inspection, we need to work out a new agreement between the buyer and seller about a repair or a price reduction on the purchase agreement. There's no handshake agreement here. These things have to be in writing and signed by both parties. Now, the catch that gets people really stressed out is they don't realize until we're hours away from a condition deadline that something needs to be agreed to and signed in writing by both parties before the condition deadline. For example, if you're the buyer and you have a financing condition due tonight on a Friday at 9 o'clock, you have to submit a written signed waiver through your realtor usually to the listing agent and in turn to the seller before 9 o'clock tonight on a Friday. And if you don't, the contract now collapses and there is no contract to buy that home. So if I can't find you on Friday afternoon to sign the waiver so I can submit the waiver by the deadline, you might not get that house. And in a hot market, this is a problem because the seller could have a backup offer in place or another buyer at the ready, maybe willing to pay more than you did. So the deadlines matter, and being available to sign either in person or electronically by a certain deadline is crucial. The other area we see problems is right before closing or on closing day. So be aware that in Alberta, the land titles office will not accept electronic signatures on the land transfer. They will only accept what we call a wet signature, i.e. an old-fashioned pen and paper signature. And you need to do this in the witness of a commissioner of oaths or a lawyer. It's a very specific process. You can't just docu-sign the land transfer. Land titles will not accept that. So you need to be available in person or, depending on the lawyer, by video conference to sign the land transfer, potentially sign other documents such as mortgage instructions in front of a lawyer on paper before closing day. You have to, like, this isn't negotiable. That brings up another issue. If you're planning for a closing day, so on the contract it'll say, this contract will complete and the seller will provide vacant possession by noon on August 10th or whatever it is. Whether you're the buyer or the seller, please be available on that day in case we need to get a hold of you and there's been a flood in the basement or a fire or damage to the property or some unexpected calamity. If we can't reach you, it's very difficult for the lawyers to start making alternate arrangements, legal remedy, negotiating what's to be done as a solution. We need to be able to reach you, so be available. Can you see why leaving the country or being on holidays or camping up in the mountains with no cell service at all of these different junctures throughout the transaction, why would that be a problem? Because we can't solve problems without you. The buyer and the seller ultimately have say, and they have the final authority to make decisions as they arise. So you have to be able to sign documents when these things come up. You have to be able to be reached by phone sometimes if there's an emergency. So I I know it's inconvenient, but buying and selling a house is the biggest investment and financial transaction that you'll ever make. Be available to your realtor and to the lawyers and to other parties to the transaction throughout the entire process. It's so, so important for that communication line to be open and legal. So if you have any other questions about that as you're trying to buy or sell and make plans for that this summer, just let me know, 3827335, or visit us at carrieflatla.com. I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, stay cool out there and have a terrific weekend. We'll see you for next Friday Fire. Bye-bye.